Taking another look at the Ford Ranger 7.5-inch axle. Since last time I've welded the housing back together. This is the long side that now is narrowed to match the short side. I'll be using a short side axle on both sides as described in previous videos. So I welded it like this. I tacked it vertically and then put it horizontal on jack stands and tried to weld like a 1/8 of a turn and then an 1/8 of a turn, like 12 and 6 and 9 and 3, rotating the axle between welds, and I just never got a good looking weld. I wound up grinding out and redoing a lot of it, and then finally buried it all under this big gobby weld. Not sure if it was just a matter of practice. I switched to the 030 wire before I started this job. Maybe a mistake, because this housing is only about 1/8 of an inch thick. About halfway through the project I realized I had this junk axle, and so I practiced welding on that, and I'm not sure it helped that much in truth. So also, this is the axle I plan to replace, the Triumph TR4 axle. I've got it on the workbench so I can study the placement of the spring perches. But back to the Ranger. Like this area here doesn't look too bad. If it looked like that the whole way around, I'd be happier. I'll spin it here with some help from my assistant. This spot is really what I wanted it to look like the whole way around, and I just could not achieve that. But since this is what I wanted it to look like, I didn't bury this part. I left it alone. But the rest of it, pretty gobby. I mean, I think the weld underneath was sound, but then I just buried it under this big weld, which I don't think will be a liability. And as far as I can tell, I don't have a drastic distortion of the straightness of the tube, though I plan to pay someone to check the straightness. My next step again is to add the spring perches, so I'll get going on that and perhaps put out another video when that's done. I think I covered everything I meant to cover today. Thanks, and be sure and watch my other videos.